dude. See you later. We're on! If Nilson's defeated.
Welcome to the second stop of the 2022 Pro Wakeboard Tour. I'm Alexa Score, joined by the one and only Parks Bonifay. We're here to bring you all the wakeboard action as well as some rider interviews for this second digital stop. And now the format of this second stop is quite a bit different than the first.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Guys get 9 tricks to bank for their mini section, and that's their entry to the event. Out of the 9 tricks, 1 has to be a double up, which I like, 1 has to be less than 5. It's very similar to the Real Wake X Games digital format. You typically have a lot better riding in a video format like this. The best tricks have always been done on video first, and I think that's what you're going to see here in the event today.
And not only that, but being digital makes it totally global. So it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter what your schedule is, you can enter in both the Pro and Junior Pro divisions. And with that said, let's get this event kicked off with the Junior Pro entries.
Yeah, these guys are definitely ready to go pro with events to come in the future. The sport is clearly in good hands. Congratulations to Stefano Camalo from Italy, taking down the overall victory in Junior Pro Digital event.
That's right, and if you thought that riding was amazing, stay tuned because next up we have the absolutely insane riding from the Pro Division. Welcome back to the second stop of the 2022 Pro Wakeboard Tour. In this event, riders were charged with submitting their best 9 tricks they could capture on film to compete with the best of the best.
And the judges just narrowed it down to the final riders. First, let's check out the guys who didn't make the podium.
All right, Parks, it's pretty insane to think that those were the 5 riders that didn't make the podium, and that was some absolutely insane riding.
It was ridiculous, yeah, man. I've never really seen riding that ever, man. It's a perfect format to see the best content within wakeboarding. Well, that leaves us with just 3 riders left. These 3 riders are the podium based on the tricks they just submitted.
That's right, we have Nick Rappa, Tyler Hiam, and Corey Tunison. They're all gonna be in the studio to dive deep into their runs, but we're gonna start it off with the 3-time PWT overall champion, Nick Rappa.
Yeah, this guy is crazy focused. He's so competitive and serious on and off the water. And you can see in his riding, he has precision and power that not a lot of guys have. He has a big bag of tricks, and he grabs and he does a lot of his tricks to the flats. And this day and age, the wakes are so big, you don't see that typically. So that's going to weigh heavy, I think, with the judges.
Yeah, and you know, he really thrives in the live setting. He loves that intensity. He loves being the last guy off the dock and being able to go down there, good under pressure. So this is a little different format for him.
Yeah, he likes to watch guys go off first. And the beauty of this event, and what I really like about it, is that guys don't get to watch the other guys go. So you have, as you're building and stacking these tricks, you're scratching your head and you're like, is this enough? So this is kind of fish out of water for Nick in the sense that he doesn't know what the other guys did in front, because at a contest, he's typically last off the dock and seated first. So we'll see how he pulls through.
That's right. Let's see how he did. Let's check out his run. All right, that was epic, and we've got the man, 3-time Pro Wakeboard Tour overall champion, Nick Rappa, in the studio.
Thank you, it's awesome to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. You are such an uber competitor. How hard was it to whittle this down to 9 tricks?
It was pretty crazy. When we're going back through footage and then, you know, still knowing that we have a time frame to be able to film new stuff as well, it's pretty cool to have options. So it was definitely a case of, you know, going back through the hard drives and reaching out to our filmers, our people who we're out training and working on this stuff with. But pretty cool to go through everything and really try and pick the best of, you know, we might get 4 or 5 of one trick and they're all kind of different. You know, the takeoff might be a little bit weird on this one, landing's great. So it was pretty cool, pretty tough at the exact same time. But
we expect you to be that critical of your riding. You're one fierce competitor, and like, was this any different than, like, I know typically you thrive with live crowds. You love to be last off the dock, watch the guys go out there and know what you have to do. You have a lot of strategy, and you're really smart about picking your tricks. Was this different, not knowing what the other guys are going to do it, and it being a video format in general?
It was definitely difficult, but at the exact same time, I kind of had a very good idea of what they were going to do. It's again, the computer and, you know, the internet is at our fingertips, and it wasn't very hard to jump on and just kind of look at, you know, what some of the boys have done in video parts, since we were able to submit tricks that we could have filmed 10 years ago, for example. So it was really cool to be able to just go online, look at, okay, you know, so-and-so's done this, and, you know, this is what I got to kind of compete with. That gave me a pretty good idea of what I thought I needed to do, and then it was just a case of pulling up the footage and trying to stitch it all together.
Well, you're probably always wanting to improve your run. If you had to be honest with us and the people at home, what trick would you change out if you had to redo this? Like, there has to be a floor of, like, what was the weak link? It was hard to find one, but what was the weak link within your run?
Yeah, so I think probably the most simple trick was probably the mute mob to the flats, which I still haven't, super cool, absolutely huge.
So dope, yeah.
Haven't seen anyone, I think that's a pretty old school trick. I've seen a lot of old school riders with the small wakes and stuff back in the day, but, you know, with our wakes being pretty much over the knee high right now and things like that, I've never really seen anyone do that to the flat. So that's me kind of doing my little thing, but I definitely say it wasn't necessarily what I wanted, and push came to shove, and that's kind of what got put in there. So I think it's still really good composition for my run. There's not many riders that are doing stuff to the flats, and there's you know, it's still kind of a little different. So it's probably trick-wise the easiest trick, as funny as that sounds, that was in the run, but I'd say probably that was it.
Well, it's undeniable this run was insane. All 9 tricks were bolts.
That's right, and stay tuned because we have the final 2 riders here at the second stop of the Pro Wakeboard Tour. Welcome back to the second stop of the 2022 Pro Wakeboard Tour. We are down to the final 2 riders before we find out who the winner is of this digital event.
And the next rider up, Hiam. Tyler's one of my favorite riders to watch. He's from the West Coast. He takes a lot of pride in the way that he does his tricks. If guys are doing a 1080, he's grabbing at mute. Most guys will grab nose. He's part of the La Familia crew, a young crew that videos all the time. So with this digital video format, he definitely has the one up, you know, compared to some of the other riders. So I think Tyler's got to be a favorite of this event.
And I love his energy. You and I were just on a shoot with him, and he is perfectly fine with being the first guy in the water right after sunset. He's just excited and happy to be there, and that's why this kid's just
Yeah,
awesome.
his ambition is just so strong. Like you said, like if there's a shoot in the morning, if the sun's good, he's first up. He's up there jumping, stretching, getting his board on. He's got the will and the froth to take it down right now. So Tyler's a dude.
All right, let's check out his entry. So that was insane, and we've got Tyler live in the studio. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Stoked to be here.
Absolutely. How do you feel overall about your part?
You know, yeah, I was stoked. Like, definitely, like, being able to put together, like, 9 heavy tricks was, you got to think it through and everything. But I was obviously happy with how it came out and not bummed with what I sent in for sure.
How much strategy goes into like the trick selection of 9 tricks? Because you only get 9 tricks, and I'm sure in the back of your mind, you're like, what is Corey doing? What is Nick doing? So you're trying to find your weakest link within your whole run and trying to bring
for
the
sure.
floor
I mean,
up. Yeah.
you know, like, you got to consider, like, composition, you know, spinning both ways, make sure you're flipping, like, obviously, like, you have to, like, today, like, Mobe 7s are a huge thing, so that is something I had to go out and learn to, like, check a box, you know, make sure you have a double flip, like, there is a double up involved as well, so you have to, like, find, like, what your best double up hit would be, and like you said, it is only 9 tricks, so you got to kind of figure out like what your 9 best tricks are, because like even what you think is hard to you like might not be considered hard to everybody else, and so you kind of got to pick and choose, and so that's why like I'm happy with what I put together. I like kind of chose the tricks I wanted to do.
What would you
what
say?
I thought were
What were you worried about? What was the trick that you weren't like as psyched on that you thought?
Well, like it kind of could go both ways. Like, one of my favorite hits is the Osmosis 7, but also it's a 7, so it's like, how technical is it as well? So like, I put it in there just because like I thought it was cool and I know how technical it is, but I know other people may not see it that way.
Well, the Osmosis was one of my favorite tricks.
Oh, yeah,
that
I
you
appreciate
did.
it.
And
Yeah.
to add 2 7s, I love how you ended it, where you did it with the Rap Hill 7, and then right as you're about to land,
the
backside
rewind.
180 out. That was an insane.
Yeah, that's a fun hit for sure. Like I was stoked to grab that a couple years ago with Ruck, and obviously I knew like as soon as I saw the format, like that would be my double up hit because that trick was super fun to get, and yeah.
It seems like this format really suits you. You film a lot with Trevor Maurer out on the West Coast, and a lot of these guys probably don't film as much video content as you do. You think you had like a bit of a upper hand just because how you used to like filming and how many tricks you had in the bank already?
Well, yeah, like being able to do X Games a couple years ago definitely helped me out because I was able to use a few of those clips. But as far as like filming with Trevor and stuff, I actually wasn't able to use any of those clips because we're coming out with a video in a couple months. So like I definitely have tricks in there that I would have loved to use.
Right.
But obviously
Good
like
self-control, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like a lot of people have put like money and
For the
effort
content.
toward it, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but it was really cool to like be able to put this together without using any of the tricks I'm doing for like while filming for another video part. So it's like kind of cool to have 2 different type of sections, I guess, put together.
Man, one of my favorite things that you do is with this type of format, you see a lot of 1260s, 1080s, Crow 7s, and guys get these tricks done, but they do the easiest grab possible just because the trick is so hard. They can't sacrifice not landing the trick for a more complicated grab. You're doing heel 10s and grabbing mute. Like you really take the initiative. Is it just being from the West Coast and that's just the way y'all do it? But you really do take the initiative and attention to details on your hardest tricks.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what I've wanted to do my whole career is just make the hard tricks look good. Like that's kind of what I've always wanted to do. Like like growing up, like living with Josh Tolker, that's kind of always what he has done, and I've always like looked up to Aaron Raffy a lot as well, because he's like been a huge part of just making your hard tricks look good. And so that's just kind of the way I see it. Like I don't really see the point of adding an extra 180 if you're not going to be able to grab it as long. Like today, in today's world, like you see a lot of kids just like they're wrapping up and doing wrap tricks, but they're just doing it to add 180s. Like they're not even going for the grab, and so it's just kind of like, it's to teach their own, you know, like however you want to do it. But in my opinion, like I'd way rather, yeah, that's how I'm going to go for it for sure.
That's awesome, man. Well, there you have it, the future of wakeboarding. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Hiam.
Thanks for having me.
While Tyler represents a part of the new clan on tour, our next rider has been on tour for nearly 10 years and is still doing tricks that no one else can do, none other than Corey Tunison.
Yeah, Corey Tunison, one of 3 riders to ever do a 1260. He's from Australia, which means he chases the summer. In summer he rides here, in the winter he goes back home and continues riding, and that's why I think you see such strong riding with the Australians. And he's a competitor, man. He hates to lose.
He is fierce on the water, but what's so cool about Corey is that off the water, he is soft, he is calm, cool, he's kind and grateful, and just kind of is the full package.
He is, man. He's really fun to watch. You can see it on and off the water. It really shows in his riding. So diverse, really good on double ups, really good at spins and technical tricks, and he films a lot too. So I think he has a lot of tricks in the bank, and I think he's definitely one to put money on for this event.
He's a true competitor, he's one of the best in the world, and you're about to see why in his entry. That was insane, and we've got the man in the house, Corey Tunison. How's it going?
It's good. It's good to be here.
Coming in off of your win at stop number 1, how was it putting this together for stop number 2?
Well, it was an interesting format, and it was actually pretty fun to sort of put everything together. Definitely had some old clips in there, but I felt like I had some sort of like a responsibility to put some new stuff in. So it was fun, always challenging, and like I'm pretty stoked with the finishing product.
It's pretty challenging, I can imagine, like filming this section and then not knowing exactly what the other guys are doing. It's like almost it's a FOMO of missing out on the podium, because you never really know how hard you should probably go. You dig deep into your bank of tricks, but you know, at some point you got to be like, is this enough to get it done?
Definitely, 100%. But I think, like, I don't know, me personally, I'm the type of guy that when I do something, I want to do it to the best of my abilities, and I think this is like the best of the best that I could ever do. So,
right. 100%. From what I saw, yeah. What was the most challenging thing? Like, what trick did you have to work hardest to kind of get for this one?
I think the one thing that I was more stoked on was the regular toe turn. Everyone's been giving me the last few years.
Right, for only spinning one way, kind of like thing.
Like, just because I don't do something doesn't mean that I can't do it, and then that was one sort of for the haters.
Yeah, sometimes you need the haters to speak up. They get a little fire.
Yeah, just because I don't do something doesn't mean I can't
proved them wrong in like 3 tries, I'm sure. I mean, you definitely had hammers across the board. Like, what out of all those tricks, which one would you replace? You have 2 months to film this section.
Yeah.
And so there's always, no matter what you do, there's always going to be a weak link trick, and it was hard to find one within yours. But what would you say if you had one more chance to replace one trick? What would you?
I mean, I definitely, I was thinking about doing some different stuff instead of blind Pete, and I didn't really get the lesson 5 that I was hoping to get. So I sort of just threw something there like super last minute. But I mean, I'm extremely proud of what I was able to put together, pulled some old clips, and managed to go out and actually like do some new stuff that some people haven't really seen before yet. So I was really proud of that.
It was definitely a wakeboard run of the future. That's the best part about these video events, is that you see what wakeboard runs could be like 4 or 5 years from now. Like, and we only see them on video right now, but for you to actually run up and down the lake and roughly do the same run, I think that's the beauty of the events, is that it just opens the eyes to what's to come in the future, and I'm
what's
sure you see it
possible
as well.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So stoked. We'll see if I can throw some of that in. That's a tall order, but don't know.
Well, it's getting down to the nitty gritty right now. The judges' scores are in, and we're going to find out who took this down.
That's right, with a score of 94 in third place, we have Nick Rappa. In second place with a 96, Tyler Hiam. And in first place with his second win of the season with a score of 98, Corey Tunison.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's sick.
Revealed.
Oh yeah,
Congrats, man.
Stoked.
How you
Thank you.
feeling?
Yeah, I feel good. So to get another one under the belt, 2 for 2 this year. So
2 in a row.
I didn't win one PWT last year, so got 2 already this year. I'm definitely pretty hyped.
Seems like you have some vengeance coming back for Nick Rappa after he's taken down the last 3 years of Pro Tour. Maybe not this year, or 2 in a row. Corey Tunison, baby.
Love it.
Did you change anything up then during the off season? You were probably a little frustrated after last year and then coming back now. What changed?
I partied a lot in the off season this year, so I don't know, I definitely felt like I had to get my life together a little bit.
You look more tan. You look more tan. You look happy. You just always have a balance and a good charisma.
I am. No, I'm really happy. I think a lot of things personally are doing really well. I've had a tough past couple years with losing some friends and family members getting cancer and stuff like that. So for the first time in a long time, everything is good and going well, and I'm riding the best I've ever ridden. Kind of just realized I've been doing for a long time now too, so I figured I should get together.
Well, yeah, you're a dangerous one when you're firing all cylinders, man. So congrats on the event, man. Clearly deserved, dude.
That's right, and be sure to check out ProWakeboardTour.com and Pro Wakeboard Tour Official on Instagram for more content from the best riders in the sport.
We're only halfway through the season, so we have a lot more great wakeboarding to come. See you next time.